Pain is a prerequisite for growth. That's not a cliche, it's a universal truth, especially for women who are chasing something more in life. We live in a world that constantly tries to sell us comfort, instant gratification, shortcuts, easy wins. But the reality is, nothing meaningful, nothing real is ever built without pain. You want growth, then you need to get uncomfortable. You need to walk straight into the challenges that scare you, the failures that bruise your ego, and the moments that test your strength. Because it's in those painful moments that your character is being shaped. That tiny damage is what triggers your body to rebuild those fibers even stronger than before. And your emotional, mental, and spiritual growth works the same way. You grow when you're stretched. You grow when you're pushed to the edge. You grow when life demands more from you than you thought you had to give, and you show up anyway. Pain forces you to wake up. It disrupts your routine. It shatters your comfort zone. And that disruption, that's where the magic happens. That's where growth begins. You don't grow when everything is going your way. You grow when you're faced with the tough stuff. When you're down on the floor and the only option left is to get back up. And every time you rise, you learn something new about yourself. You discover strength you didn't know was there. You realize that you are capable of more than you ever believed. So many women are out there waiting for the perfect time to chase their dreams, waiting for the fear to go away, waiting for life to calm down. But pain doesn't wait. Growth doesn't wait. And if you keep waiting for things to feel safe, you will stay stuck. The truth is, you have to move forward while you're scared. You have to take the shot even while your hands are shaking, because that pain you're feeling, that's just the price of becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Pain is not the enemy, it's your teacher. Every setback is a lesson. Every heartbreak is a doorway. Every rejection is redirection. But most people don't get the lesson because they're too focused on escaping the pain. They numb it, avoid it, run from it. But the women who grow, the women who lead, the women who thrive, they do the opposite. They lean in, they feel it fully, and then they use it to rise. And here's what's powerful. Pain is also a mirror. It shows you what matters. It shows you what matters. It reveals where you're still wounded, what you still believe about yourself, and where you're holding back. It forces you to ask the hard questions. Who am I really? What do I want? What am I willing to fight for? And when you stop seeing pain as something to avoid and start seeing it as something that's shaping you, everything changes. Let me be clear. Growth is not glamorous. It's not a highlight reel. It's messy. It's crying on the bathroom floor. It's doubting yourself in the dark. It's showing up day after day when no one is clapping. But pain has a way of stripping away the noise. It removes the ego, it humbles you. And in that humility, in that raw and honest space, you begin to uncover the real you. The you who doesn't quit, who keeps showing up, who keeps growing no matter how hard it gets. You don't become powerful by avoiding pain. You become powerful by surviving it, by facing it, by walking through it and choosing to grow anyway. And that kind of power, that's unshakable. That's the kind of power that can't be taken from you. That's the kind of power that changes lives, not just your own, but the people around you too. So if you're in pain right now, good. That means you're growing. That means you're in the process of becoming. Don't run from it. Don't numb it. Don't wish it away. Let it build you. Let it teach you. Let it push you to a new level. Because your next version, the one that's more confident, more capable, more courageous, is waiting on the other side of that pain. Discomfort is one of the most misunderstood experiences in life. Most people think that when they feel uncomfortable, something is wrong. They panic, retreat, or quit altogether. But here's what you need to understand. Discomfort isn't a warning sign that you're on the wrong path. It's often the clearest signal that you're exactly where you need to be, because discomfort is what progress feels like. When you're stepping into something new, something bigger, something unfamiliar, of course, you're going to feel uncomfortable. That's your brain doing what it's wired to do, keep you safe. Your brain loves patterns, routines, predictability. It's built for survival, not success. So the second you start reaching, growing, expanding beyond what's known and comfortable, your brain fires off alarm bells. This is scary. Stop, but here's the truth. Those alarm bells don't mean danger. They mean transformation is happening. That nervous energy you feel before taking a leap. That's growth. That flutter in your stomach before speaking up in the meeting, that's you becoming more confident. That tightness in your chest before you make a bold decision, that's you stepping into your power. Discomfort is the evidence that you're leveling up. It's the friction between who you were and who you're becoming. Yet so many people stop there. They feel that resistance and back off. They interpret discomfort as a sign they're not ready, not capable, not good enough. But here's the thing. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing. Willing to walk through the uncomfortable moments. Willing to feel the fear and still move. Willing to embrace the awkwardness, the learning curve, the uncertainty. Because everything you want, every dream, every goal, every breakthrough, it lives outside your comfort zone. Let's be honest. Growth is uncomfortable because it forces you to let go of who you've been. It demands that you challenge your own limitations. It exposes your insecurities. It requires you to do things you've never done before, take risks you're not sure will work out, and show up in ways that might not get immediate applause. But that discomfort, it's not there to stop you. It's there to stretch you, to shape you, to prepare you for the version of yourself that can actually handle the success you're working for. Think about every major milestone in your life. Was it easy? Was it smooth and comfortable? Or was it filled with tension, fear, mistakes, and growth? Discomfort is the thread that runs through every meaningful achievement. And the more you're willing to tolerate it, the more unstoppable you become. Because discomfort is temporary, but what it creates is permanent. You have to learn how to sit in it, how to breathe through it, how to see it not as something to run from, but something to walk with. Discomfort is a companion on the journey to your best self. It's not your enemy. It's your coach. It shows up every time you're doing something important. It keeps you honest. It keeps you humble. And it keeps you aware of how far you've come. For women especially, discomfort can be deeply tied to identity. We're often taught to make everyone else comfortable before ourselves, to avoid conflict, to stay likable. So when we start doing bold things, speaking up, taking space, setting boundaries, it can feel deeply unsettling. But that's not a problem. That's proof that you're unlearning the conditioning that kept you small. That discomfort you feel when you say no, when you ask for more, when you own your voice. That's power. That's growth. That's you becoming more of who you really are. The key is to stop seeing discomfort as a signal to stop and start seeing it as a signal to go, to lean in, to trust that this feeling, though uncomfortable, is taking you somewhere better. You don't grow from easy. You don't evolve from comfortable. You transform when you're stretched, when you're doing the hard things that most people won't do. So the next time discomfort shows up, welcome it, don't numb it, don't hide from it, feel it, acknowledge it, and then move forward anyway. It's all a bit because the women who succeed, who thrive, who change their lives, they're not the ones who avoid discomfort. They're the ones who embrace it, they use it, they grow through it. And they come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and completely unstoppable. Rewiring your brain for resilience doesn't happen through reading inspirational quotes or watching a few motivational videos. It happens through lived experience, especially the hard one. Every time life hits you with something painful, a setback, a loss, a failure, you're given a choice. Let it break you or let it build you. And the women who choose to rise, who choose to grow instead of shrink, are the ones who end up rewiring their minds for resilience. That kind of mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop, one challenge at a time. Your brain is constantly adapting. It's learning based on what you feed it, your thoughts, your reactions, your habits. And when you face pain, when you're in a storm, that's the moment when your brain is wide open for reprogramming. Pain gives you a window to either install strength or reinforce fear. Most people repeat the same old response: avoidance, self-doubt, quitting. Self-doubt, but if you lean in, if you choose to stay and push through, you begin to lay new mental tracks. You start training your brain to associate pain not with failure, but with growth. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It's in the small choices, the daily decisions. When you fall short, but instead of beating yourself up, you ask, what did I learn? When something doesn't work out and instead of giving up, you pivot. When your heart gets broken and you choose to heal, not hide. These moments are not insignificant. They're the very moments when resilience is built, Resilience isn't about being tough all the time. It's about becoming aware of how your thoughts shape your behavior and then choosing better ones even when it's hard. Your brain is listening to everything you say. Every time you tell yourself, I can't do this, I'm not enough, this is too much, your brain goes, okay, got it, and follows that belief. But every time you say this is hard, but I'm figuring it out, I've done hard things before, I can do it again. This isn't the end, it's a new beginning. You're literally rewiring your brain for strength, flexibility, and endurance. And here's something powerful. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's repeated. So if you keep telling it you're strong, capable, and resourceful, even if you don't fully believe it yet, it will start adapting to that belief. That's how habits form. Look, that's how new neural pathways are built. And over time, you stop reacting to pain with fear. You start responding with clarity, confidence, and courage. Women especially have to be intentional about this because so many of us have been conditioned to doubt ourselves, to second-guess our instincts, to take up less space. That internal narrative isn't just emotional, it's neurological. We've trained our brains to expect rejection, to anticipate failure, to soften our ambition. But the incredible news is that the brain is neuroplastic. That means it can change. You can unlearn what no longer serves you and relearn what empowers you. And pain is the perfect catalyst for that transformation. Every tough season in your life is a mental gym. You're building new reflexes, learning how to breathe through pressure, how to stay grounded when the world feels chaotic, how to keep moving when everything tells you to stop. That's not weakness. That's resilience in action. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes who you are. There will still be moments when you fall apart. That's okay. Resilience isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about knowing you have the tools to get back up, that you've faced pain before and you survived, that you're not the same person you were a year ago, a month ago, even a week ago. You've evolved. You've adapted. You've rewired your mind to not just withstand life's storms, but to use them as fuel. So start noticing your thoughts. Start paying attention to what you repeat to yourself when things get tough. Catch the old patterns and replace them with ones that serve your growth. This is how you train your brain to become resilient. Not by avoiding the pain, but by walking through it with purpose and intention. Because the most powerful women aren't the ones who've had easy lives. They're the ones who learn to bend without breaking. The ones who turn pain into perspective, fear into fuel, and setbacks into strength. That's resilience. And it's not just something you build, it's something you become. Women are taught from an early age to avoid conflict, to play nice, to not ruffle feathers. We're conditioned to keep the peace, to put others first, to be accommodating, agreeable, and polite. Even when it costs us our voice, our boundaries, and our dreams, this programming runs deep. It shows up when we stay quiet instead of speaking up. When we smile even though we're uncomfortable. When we say yes even though we're screaming no inside. And here's the hard truth. That kind of behavior may keep you safe, but it will never make you powerful. Success requires you to break that pattern. It demands that you stop shrinking yourself for the sake of other people's comfort. You cannot become who you're meant to be if you're constantly trying to avoid conflict or keep everyone happy. Growth is not a peaceful process. It's disruptive, it's messy, and it often involves saying things that might make people uncomfortable, including yourself. When you start owning your voice, setting boundaries, or making bold decisions, it's going to feel unnatural. That's normal. You're going against everything you've been taught to do. You're unlearning decades of silent conditioning. And it's going to feel like conflict, not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're finally doing something right. You're finally choosing you. There's a moment in every woman's journey when she realizes that staying small is more painful than stepping up. That moment is powerful. It's when the shift begins. You stop asking for permission. You stop apologizing for your ambition. You stop softening your voice just to make others feel better. And yes, it might cause discomfort. It might lead to tough conversations. It might even mean losing some people along the way. But what you gain is far greater. You gain your integrity, your strength, your authenticity. Conflict isn't the enemy, it's feedback, it's information. It shows you where the boundaries are, where you've been silencing yourself, where change needs to happen. And when you stop fearing it, you learn to navigate it with clarity and confidence. You learn that disagreeing with someone doesn't make you difficult. Saying no doesn't make you mean. Being direct doesn't make you rude. It makes you honest. It makes you real. Every time you choose to stand in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, you're building self-trust. You're telling yourself, I matter. My voice matters. My needs matter. And that's a message your brain needs to hear over and over again until it becomes your new normal. Because the more you practice showing up fully and unapologetically, the less tolerance you'll have for the spaces, relationships, and systems that demand your silence. This doesn't mean you need to become aggressive or confrontational. It means learning to speak up with purpose. It means honoring your own boundaries. It means asking for what you need without guilt. It means saying, this doesn't work for me, and knowing that your worth isn't tied to someone else's reaction. That kind of power doesn't come from avoiding conflict. It comes from stepping into it with courage and clarity. Women have been led to believe that their value lies in how well they take care of everyone else, how likable they are, how easy they are to be around. But that's not real power. Real power is being fully in alignment with yourself. It's knowing who you are and refusing to abandon yourself for the sake of keeping the peace. There will be moments where this feels isolating, when standing in your truth costs you relationships or approval, but those losses are not setbacks, they're clarifiers. They show you who's aligned with your growth and who's only comfortable with your silence. And the more you honor your voice, the more you attract the people, opportunities, and spaces that respect your strength. You are not put here to live a watered-down version of your life. You are not meant to stay silent, small, or stuck just to fit someone else's idea of who you should be. You are here to lead, to impact, to rise, and none of that happens without friction. None of that happens if you keep avoiding discomfort. So today, make a decision. Choose to break the pattern. Choose to speak up even if your voice shakes. Choose to hold the boundary even if it feels uncomfortable. Choose to stop shrinking. Because your power, your growth, and your future, they all begin the moment you stop avoiding conflict and start honoring your truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. This is one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your thinking, and yet so many women are terrified of failure. We grow up believing that getting it wrong means we're not good enough, not smart enough, not capable enough. We carry this pressure to be perfect, to get everything right the first time, and when we don't, we internalize it as personal defeat. But the truth is, if you're not failing, you're not growing, you're not stretching, you're not trying anything new. Failure is the classroom of success. Every mistake you make holds a lesson. Every plan that didn't work is showing you a better way. Every door that closes is redirecting you to something more aligned. But most people never stop to learn those lessons because they're too busy beating themselves up for not being perfect. They let the failure define them instead of refine them. And that's where the damage happens. Not in the failure itself, but in the way we respond to it. What if instead of asking, why did I mess up, you started asking, what can I learn from this? That one question changes everything. It turns every misstep into an opportunity. It takes the sting out of falling and replaces it with fuel to keep going. Because you cannot become successful without first learning how to fail forward. You will fail. You will make mistakes. You will take risks that don't pay off, trust people who let you down, take on challenges that push you to the edge. And that's okay. That's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. It means you're in the arena. It means you're playing big. It means you're doing the kind of work that matters. The people who succeed at the highest levels aren't the ones who had a flawless path. They're the ones who got knocked down 100 times and stood up 101. They kept learning, kept adjusting, kept evolving. That's what real strength looks like. Not perfection, but persistence. Not flawless execution, but relentless effort. We need to stop glorifying the end result and start celebrating the process. Because the process is where the growth happens. It's where confidence is built. It's where your character is formed. And failure is part of that process. It's not a detour. It's the path. And when you stop fearing it, when you stop running from it, you gain access to a whole new level of freedom. For women especially, this mindset shift is crucial because we've been taught to play it safe, to stay in our lane, to avoid risk. And so many brilliant, talented women hold back because they're afraid to look stupid, afraid to fall short, afraid to fail. But what they don't realize is that playing it safe is its own kind of failure. It's the failure to grow, to rise, to step into your full potential. If you're going to do something meaningful with your life, you have to be willing to fail. You have to get comfortable with discomfort. You have to understand that setbacks are not signs that you're not good enough. They're part of the process of becoming who you were meant to be. And every time you fail, you build something more valuable than success. You build resilience, you build grit, you build experience. And those things are priceless. Let go of the idea that you need to have it all figured out. Let go of the belief that failure is a sign of weakness. It's not. It's a sign that you're in motion, that you're willing to risk, that you're brave enough to try. And that bravery, that's what changes your life. So next time you fall short, don't retreat, reflect. Don't spiral, strategize. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't? What can I do differently next time? And then get back in the game with more clarity, more courage, and more conviction than before. You are not your failures. You are the strength that rises from them. You are the wisdom that comes from every lesson learned. And you are the woman who refuses to let a single misstep define her. Keep going, keep failing forward. Because every failure is simply a stepping stone on the path to your success. There is no timeline for healing, no fixed schedule for figuring it out, no deadline for getting your life together. And yet, so many women are carrying the weight of unrealistic expectations, thinking they should already be further ahead, already be stronger, already be healed. But growth doesn't happen on demand. It's not a straight line. It's a journey with twists, setbacks, breakthroughs, and quiet in-between moments. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply keep going, even when you're not sure how the pieces will come together. We live in a world obsessed with speed. We're praised for how fast we move, how quickly we bounce back, how efficiently we produce results. But the truth is, real growth, the kind that transforms you from the inside out, isn't fast. It's deep, it's slow, it's messy. And it happens in layers. One decision, one thought, one courageous moment at a time. You can't rush your evolution. You can't fast forward through the hard seasons. You have to live them, breathe through them, and learn from them. There will be days when you feel stuck, days when it seems like nothing is changing. But that doesn't mean you're failing. Sometimes the greatest growth is happening beneath the surface, quietly, invisibly, in the parts of you that are learning to trust again, to believe again, to try again. You don't always see the progress as it's happening, but that doesn't mean it's not real. Healing often looks like doing the same small thing over and over, getting up when it would be easier to stay down, showing up when your heart feels heavy, choosing hope when your mind wants to quit. Give yourself permission to go at your own pace. There is no gold medal for rushing through your healing, no award for pretending you're okay when you're not. What matters is that you're honest with yourself, that you're listening to what you need, that you're creating space for your pain, your joy, your confusion, and your clarity. Because all of it is part of your journey, and none of it disqualifies you from becoming who you were meant to be. There's a quiet kind of strength in being patient with yourself, in saying, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm still showing up. That kind of grace, that kind of self-compassion, it's revolutionary. And when you start to see yourself as someone who acts, even in fear, you become unstoppable. People often think courage is about doing big, dramatic things. But real courage, it's quiet. It's personal. It's waking up and deciding to try again, even after you failed. It's speaking up when your voice wants to hide. It's walking into a room where you feel like you don't belong and reminding yourself that you do. That kind of courage doesn't require you to be fearless. It requires you to be honest. Honest about your fears, and even more honest about your dreams. Because if you're being honest, you know there's something inside you that wants more. You know there's a version of you that's bold, brave, and unapologetically alive. And you also know that the only way to meet her is by taking action. Not later, not when you feel ready now. So ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't waiting to feel confident? What would I start, say, or create if I stopped needing to feel 100% prepared? Let that answer guide your next step. Let it push you past the fear. Let it be louder than the doubts. Because confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you earn. And the only way to earn it is through movement. You are capable of so much more than you think, but you'll never discover that truth if you let fear run the show. The fear doesn't need to be gone. It just needs to ride in the back seat. You're the one driving now, and the road ahead, it's not going to be smooth, but it's yours. It's filled with lessons, breakthroughs, setbacks, and victories, and every step you take on that road makes you stronger, bolder, and more confident than the one before. You don't have to wait for fear to disappear. You just have to decide that your dreams are worth moving for, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Because on the other side of that discomfort, that's where your power lives.